At the Manx Museum for the UNESCO Biosphere Awards with me, Minister Boot. This goes from strength to strength, I believe. You've got lots of people entering this year.
Yes, we converted from the Energy Awards to the Biosphere Awards last year, and this year we have over 45 entries, so it's very encouraging.
Now, there's 4 different groups. Can you explain what they're about?
Yes, we've got economic sustainability, which is sort of self-explanatory in terms of companies and individuals who run companies that it's economically sustainable in the longer term. Mm-hmm. We have education and public awareness. Once again, biosphere, public awareness of the environment and what's going on, very important, and educating, getting people to know what is being done and where it's being done and why it's being done, an important aspect. We have energy, and that's all about energy, renewables, and using energy sensibly in terms of insulation and green energy initiatives, and we'll hear more about that during the awards ceremony. And then we have the environment, and once again, biosphere, man, the environment, very important aspects of the Isle of Man. We all live in a beautiful, almost pristine environment. Is one that we want to preserve for the future.
Okay, I mean, you mentioned there about energy, but that's a bit the hot potato at the minute, isn't it? About this business about getting the oil out of the ground, out of the sea and all that sort of thing. What's your take on this?
Well, it's a difficult one, isn't it? If you look at some of the countries that have got the most green initiatives, like Scotland, for instance, and Norway, they're great exploiters of carbon fuel, fossil fuel assets at the moment, but they're using that money to turn their economies and countries into very green, renewable economies. And UNESCO acknowledged that gas is what they call a transformation fuel and will be with us for a number of years. Difficult to see how we would survive without it at the moment. So isn't it better that we exploit our own gas rather than import it from thousands of miles away? I
mean, there's logic I can see for some. Does it sit well with you, though, for this?
Well, I find myself in a difficult position, really. I would prefer not to exploit fossil fuels, but it's government policy, and we are going to do that, if indeed a reserve that's exploitable is found, and we're nowhere near that point yet.
And we keep covering the ground of renewables, but we haven't got any of these great turbines either on or offshore, or masses of solar panel farms. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, we haven't, but we're waiting for Professor James Curran's report, and there'll be an action plan prepared as a result of that, and that will be looking very seriously at renewables in the not too distant future.
And pushing on with those wind turbines, do you think they will be on land or just purely away in the distance at sea?
Well, when I go back a few years, canvassing to become an MHK, definitely no when it came to onshore wind. People didn't like the idea of large wind turbines onshore. There is an offshore array that is possible, but there are problems with the UK with contracts for differences.
Really?
However,
because I mean, they've got loads out there themselves,
yes,
right on our doorstep.
But they subsidise the electricity. The array that we have agreed with Ørsted is far in excess of our energy requirement, so they need a market for it somewhere else. But going back to onshore, when we did the climate change consultation, it was interesting to note that there was now a move in favour of onshore wind, and not only in favour of it, but the question was very specific: would you be in favour of it if you can see it from your window? Because that brings it really home, and that people were in favour of that. So the attitudes are changing.
Do you really think everyone's going to think that, though? I mean, only one person will like it, and it could have all sorts of impacts on people and bird life and all sorts.
There are impacts, and if any onshore wind is going to happen in the future, obviously these will have to be looked into.
Will you be the first one to have one out your back garden, would you?
I wouldn't mind a small wind turbine. Yes,
a small
one. Yes, well, I'm not going to have a huge one.
This is my point, though, isn't it? Everyone's going. They say on paper they may want it, but I'm not sure they're all going to.
Well, we'll see in due course, won't we? If a scheme does come forward, whether it's small or large, it'll have to go to planning, and they'll test public opinion at that stage.
And how is our biosphere status?
Good, very good. We're in good.
It's renewed, doesn't it, soon?
It'll be another 7 years or so. Okay. But we've had visits from prominent people within the Biosphere or UNESCO organisation looking at what we're doing here, and so far we're ticking the boxes, and our report's good.